Hello guys, it is Gate of Theories here, and I feel like it's been so long since the last time we did a Mamma Mia video on this channel, and one of the reasons for that is because when the brand new movie in 2018, Mamma Mia Here We Go Again, came out, it left a lot of unanswered questions for us here on Gate of Theories to tackle the answers to, and we have basically done all of the obvious questions and answered all of them, and we have a whole playlist about that. If you want to go and check it out, then you can go and click the card up there. And I honestly thought that we had answered all of the main obvious questions, and then the only other questions we could answer is if we dig really deep into Mamma Mia Here We Go Again, or the original Mamma Mia, and just tackle some really random question. And yet, I think I was wrong, because there is one question that has been staring everyone in the face, including me, whenever you watch Mamma Mia Here We Go Again. Now, the first ever video that we did on Mamma Mia on this channel, which is by far our most popular video on this channel, is How Did Donna Die? Because that's what the entire second movie it's about. It's about how on earth the characters are dealing with Donna's death. And we tackled that, and it got so many views and so many likes, and the comments on it were brilliant. I just want to say thank you so much for that, guys. We couldn't thank you enough for how much we appreciate what you did on that video. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend that you go and check it out. There'll be a link to it in the description down below, or you can go and click the card up there. And if you have any other questions for us to answer about Mamma Mia, make sure you leave them down in the field section down below. But in that video, we only answered how did Donna die. We never answered when did Donna die, because if you look very carefully throughout Mamma Mia Here We Go Again, there are lots of clues to suggest when Donna died. But before we go any further, just make sure you've clicked that red subscribe button down below. So, to work out when on earth Donna died, we have to firstly work out when Mamma Mia 1 and Mamma Mia Here We Go Again take place, which year, and maybe what on earth the precise date each movie takes place. And it's pretty easy to work this out. If you've ever seen any of my previous Mamma Mia theory videos, I do mention when on earth each movie takes place quite a lot. But today I found something new, so let's work out. So the way how we can work out when on earth the first movie took place is easily by looking at young Donna. We know that young Donna decided to leave England to the Greek islands in the summer of 1979. And then that's where she met Bill, Harry and Sam along her travels, and then she became pregnant with Sophie, which means that Sophie would have been born around the year of 1980. And we know that Sophie was 20 years old in the first movie. So this means that the first movie would take place in the year 2000, as it's simple. You would just add 20 from the year 1980 to get to 2000. So the first movie takes place in 2000. Now, to find out when the second movie takes place, we have to go right near the end of Mamma Mia Here We Go Again, where we hear this conversation between Ruby and Sophie. Sophie goes up to Ruby and asks her why on earth she is here, and Ruby responds by saying,
"That's the best kind of party, little girl."
And then Sophie says, "You are too late. You are 25 years too late." Now, when she says 25 years too late, she's obviously referring to her age, 25. And we know she was 20 in the first movie, which means there's a 5-year difference between the first movie and the second movie. So, seeing as the first movie took place in the year 2000, it would mean that the second movie would take place in the year 2005. And that's what I thought, and I've based a lot of my previous theories all on that. And then today, I found something completely different that changes exactly what we saw about when Mamma Mia Here We Go Again takes place. If you notice at the beginning of the movie, Sophie is writing her invitations to Harry and Bill and also Ruby to invite them along to come to the grand opening of the hotel. And if we look at the image of the postcard, we can see that this grand opening of the hotel is taking place on Saturday the 7th of July. And in 2005, the 7th of July was not on a Saturday. Instead, it was on a Thursday. So this means that Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again does not take place in the year 2005 like we thought it did. Instead, it must take place in a different year. So I decided to look at when on earth the 7th of July was on a Saturday. And the nearest year to the year 2005 is in 2007, where the 7th of July was indeed on a Saturday. So this would mean that Sophie is 27 during the time of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, as, like I said before, she was 20 in the first film, and that's for definite that she is 20. And if Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again takes place in 2007, then it would mean that it's just 7 years ahead, so that Sophie would be 27. But why on earth would Sophie tell her grandma, "You're 25 years too late," when she's 27? So this means either Sophie is 27 or she was born later. What I mean from that is it's clear from young Donna that Sophie was born in the year 1980 because Donna moves away from England to the Greek islands in the summer of 1979, and to create Sophie she definitely had sex in the summer of 1979, and so we know she was definitely pregnant in the summer of 1979, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Sophie was born in 1980. Now, I know it's a stretch and it's highly unlikely, but at the rate we're going, it could mean that Sophie was born in the year 1981 or 82. So this would mean that the first movie would take place in the year 2002, and the second movie, like we said before, would take place in the year 2007, so that the 5-year gap that we talked about before when Sophie tells Ruby that she's 25 years too late would work. But the idea of young Donna giving birth to Sophie after being pregnant for 2 years is a huge stretch and highly unlikely. So it must mean that for the first 2 years of Sophie's life, or another random 2 years in Sophie's life, there was a time when Sophie's grandma was around Sophie. So maybe young Donna and Sophie's grandma did make up for a little while, and then after those 2 years they fell apart again and Ruby moved away again. So when Sophie says she was 25 years too late, it could be referring to after Ruby left, which would mean that Sophie definitely is 27, and that the first movie still does take place in the year 2000, as Sophie would have been born in the year 1980, and that the second movie would take place in the year 2007. Now, I know it's a stretch to say that there's a 7-year gap between the first movie and the second movie, but if you take into account that during these 7 years, Sam, Sky, and Sophie have rebuilt the hotel, Rosie and Bill were together and have split up, and they must have been together for at least a little while, and Harry has improved his business so much that he's doing, major company deals and all that sort of stuff. And also, if you look at some of the characters, they have aged quite a lot. So overall, we know the exact day of when the second movie takes place. Now, the final night when we find out that Sophie is pregnant and everyone else is there and Ruby comes in the helicopter, that final night takes place on Saturday, the 7th of July, 2007. And earlier on in the movie, right near the beginning, just before Sky and Sophie sing the song One of Us, Sky and Sophie have a conversation over the phone where we hear some important information about when Donna died. But before we hear what on earth they had to say about when Donna died, we have to find out what exact day this conversation is taking place. And this is probably the easiest thing to do because you literally count how many days there are in the movie. Now, this conversation would have taken place a couple of days before Saturday, and we can work out exactly how many. The first day is where Sophie and Sky have the conversation, and then Tanya and Rosie come. And we then see young Donna and young Harry sleeping, and we see Sophie wake up in her bed with Tanya and Rosie. She then goes to Sam's wearing different clothes, so it's obviously the next day. And in day 2, we get the storm, so that's the end of that day. And then finally we get to the third day after the storm, as we can see each characters are wearing different clothes On this third day, we get Angel Eyes and we get Dancing Queen, and we get all of the rest of the characters coming to the grand opening. And of course, it is the grand reopening of the hotel, so it is Saturday the 7th of July. So the whole movie takes place on a 3-day period. So to find out when on earth the conversation that Sky and Sophie had before takes place, it's really simple. You literally just subtract 2 from Saturday the 7th of July, which leaves us where the conversation takes place on Thursday the 5th of July 2007. In this conversation, Sophie and Sky mention 2 very big points to do with when on earth Donna dies. Now, Sophie mentions that Sky has been living in New York for around 6 weeks now, and Sky mentions that Donna has been dead for a year. Now, when Sky mentions that Donna's been dead for a year, I doubt he actually means that Donna has been dead for an exact year. Like, Donna died exactly 1 year from that conversation that they are having. Which I doubt he's actually meaning that. He's probably meaning an estimate of a year. That's when Donna died. So if we assume that Sky's meaning Donna died around a year ago, then it could mean that we can subtract that 6 weeks that we heard from Sophie before, which would mean that Sky left for New York on the 24th of May 2007. And if we're saying that Donna died a year before Sky left for New York, then it would actually make quite a lot of sense. Sophie mentions Sky's in New York to learn more about the hotel business, to help them run this hotel really well. And this would be a great time for Sky to leave and learn more about the hotel business 1 year after Donna's death and 1 year after Sophie, Sky, Sam and Fernando have restarted the hotel. They're 1 year in the process of rebuilding this hotel. It's a perfect time to research and learn new things to strengthen their business of this hotel. So seeing as they have been rebuilding this hotel for 1 year now, because they started when Donna died, then it would mean that they're at the 1 year mark, so it'd be a perfect time to just get some new ideas in to make this hotel even better. So because we're saying that Sky left for New York 1 year after Donna had died, because that's 1 year after they started rebuilding this hotel, it would mean that Donna dies 1 year before the 24th of May 2007. And if we subtract 1 year, we get Wednesday the 24th of May 2006. In other words, the day Donna died. So guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, then please smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, this is just sort of an estimate of the time when Donna would have died. It probably wasn't exactly this date, but it would have been around this time. If you agree with me, then make sure you tell me in the field section down below. Or if you have any other ideas on when on earth Donna died, make sure you also tell me in the field section down below. And if you want to know how on earth Donna did die, then you can go and check out our video on it in the description down below. And as always, we've been here on Gate of Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.